Navajo Stirling back in action this weekend and King in the Ring. Not in the tournament this time around. It's a little bit above your weight class. I don't see you making super heavyweight anytime soon, but world title fight coming up, Matt. How did this opportunity come around?
I think, I've been trucking away on all the other kickboxing fights I've had. I've done all that I can do in New Zealand. Yeah, I think the promoter, Jason Suddy, floated across to Eugene, and they teed it up for me. They reckon I'm, a world-class athlete. I'm up there, and I should, be fighting, these kind of guys. So to get the opportunity to fight for a world title and have that on my resume before I take off in the MMA scene, it's good to have.
What do you know about your opponent? Bloke from Australia coming over, Jessie Astill. He's got a pretty good record, pretty good resume, and a few nice shiny bouts of his own.
Yeah. From the tape I've seen, he's more of a Muay Thai stylist. He's fought like some notable Australian heavyweights that I've looked at. Even I thought about fighting as well if the opportunity ever arose. And he's young too, so I think seeing another young guy for once, it's a different atmosphere. When you're fighting a young guy and you're fighting heads, that fires is in it. It's not like a veteran passing the torch. It's like two young guys wanting to see who's better. I reckon that's awesome. It changes the whole dynamic and of the fight, and you'll see like guys slug it out. So whoever can make the best reads and whoever's the best man in there will win.
Can you sort of explain what you mean about, the veteran passing the torch sort of fights? Like for you as a young fighter, what is it like to fight those those older guys?
Yeah. Well, as I was on the way up through the kickboxing and taking on King of the Ring 8-man, I was fighting Nato Laoli and Foa Lam and all the older veterans coming up as a young guy. So to finally fight another young guy from another country who's also similar record to me, and he's got a lot of knockouts under his belt, very similar age. I'm not too sure exactly how old he is, but I know he might be my age or younger. So it's different for once. I feel like now I'm actually competing with guys who are at the same mindset as me, and it'll be good.
How has it been sort of preparing for this fight, knowing that you got your pro MMA debut on the Shuriken card in a couple of weeks' time? Like, has that been strange, or has it all just been business as usual for you?
Yeah, it's business as usual for me. When I was training up for my last kickboxing fight, I was doing nothing but MMA training, and even for this, I've had so many kickboxing fights now, and especially K1. I'm very in tune with it. So mainly for my camp, it was mainly gearing towards the MMA training. And so long as I'm fit, I don't need a lot for my kickboxing. However, going into the fight, I'm not even thinking about my MMA fight right now. I'm just solely focused on this one fight and one fight only. I'm not trying to save myself for this MMA fight. I'll be giving it my all, and if I have to dig deep, and if I have to reach into my bag and pull out some tricks that I haven't shown yet, I will do that. So yeah, I've always had a lot more to give than what I've shown as well. So I'm always like, man, give me more kickboxing fights, before I take off in MMA, because I've got so many skills there and styles that I've been practicing over the years just on my own. I've been real creative with my training, my striking. So if I can show that over 5 rounds, because this is a world title fight, if I can show that over 5 rounds, I know the crowd's going to be real tuned in. Every time I fight, it's exciting. It's not like I'm going out there throwing light jabs and feints to win. I'm actually, I know there's urgency on it as well, So you'll see me dominate the rounds. Hopefully, put on a masterclass. I always go for God mode in there, and if I get the knockout, I do. So yeah, it usually comes to me. So
That's something sort of interesting that I kind of like asking fighters about when you talk about, wanting to have those extra rounds to show what you've been working on, show what you're capable of. And then the knockout comes. Like, would you rather have a knockout early in the fight, or would you rather a 5-round masterclass?
well, like the you knock a guy out round one, 10 seconds, like people can start adding their criticism like, oh, he wasn't the best fighter or yada yada yada. And you don't really get to get the experience. When you This is what I had learned from my first trainer, Sonny Vanathy, who was telling me, like, you go in there and knock a guy out in the first 10 seconds, your friends and family come flown all the way to watch you, everyone's tuned in. And although it does look cool and it feels good in the meantime, and you look unstoppable, um, they're still there to watch you fight. You're an entertainer as well. So if you can give people something to watch, that's why, even though I've had not that many fights, I've done that every time I've fought. I've shown my skill set, what I'm capable of, and I haven't even reached into what I have in my bag. So people are like drawn to it. They're drawn to the way I fight, the way I speak, everything. It's the whole package. I try to give them, something to watch and make it entertaining.
You've had a few light heavyweight training partners over the last couple of months. Well, light heavyweight scene down here isn't the greatest you'll find in the world. You got some pretty good sparring partners in Carlos Ulberg and Tyson Pedro. Tyson Pedro actually pointed out just like how impressed he was with you on Izzy's YouTube channel. I don't know if you saw
Yeah.
that, but what was it like having Tyson in the gym and working with him?
Yeah, no, Tyson's an awesome training partner. And he was helping me like bridge a small gap between my grappling and just his experience, and just talking about like some of the things he had done. He was in a similar boat, that the whole Oceania light heavyweight. Not that many fights. You kind of get thrown into the UFC and you learn on the job. So that's looking like the same pathway for me as same as him and Carlos. Yeah, you should have seen our VO2 wrestling rounds. It was real good. I'm not as smart as them. I don't like know as much stuff as them, but like I know how I use my youth and my fitness, and I am able to keep up. And just the little things that they teach me help open up like a whole lot more than just teaching me one or two things. It was just like small adjustments that had like this was all I needed. It was all I needed, and it made like opened up like a whole plethora of new attacks for me, and new holds and takedowns and whatever it might be, defense. Yeah, I learned a lot while he was doing his camp here, and I'm real grateful to rub shoulders with him.
Is that something you've been sort of particularly enjoying since you made the move to Auckland? Just how many little things can open up avenues to so many different attacks and so many different ways you can sort of play the game.
Yeah, for sure. Like I was used to training with, just regular hobby people that are just training as a hobby, and I'm like a full-time professional. And I was used to training with guys who were like lighter than me, not as big or athletic, and to be with guys that are big athletic pros and all world training at that same competitive level. We can kind of skip past some basic details in terms of addressing the whole class, and we can start focusing on what's really going to make you a lot more elite. And I think that's the thing I've noticed. I've always been like a good learner anyways, student anyways. I don't mind where we do basic stuff or advanced stuff, but I've always got a keen ear and always listening, and I think that's like what I'm really good at. So yeah, that's all I have to say on that.
Yeah, I feel like you kind of have to be a keen learner
Yeah,
to get anywhere in the sport, right? It's a very
yeah, for
complicated
sure.
sport.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm just fortunate enough that I'm like a very practical learner. Like anything to do with movement and body movement, I'm very coordinated. I've always been able to pick things up real easy. So to be in a sport where you need that at the most. This is just I know I'm made for this, so yeah.
What would it mean
Haven't
to you?
even.
Sorry, bro.
Oh, what'd you say?
What would it mean to you on Saturday night to obviously not only get the win, but to have that world title around your waist, to say world champion next to your name?
Oh yeah, that's huge. I mean, when I think bigger than me, and then right now, like I'm, you know, I'm doing something big for my bloodline. I'm stapling the name Sterling on that world title, and it's going to be in the record books forever. So when I think about my ancestors and where my culture and where I'm from and where I grew up and all the things that have happened to me, and to be able to say that, I think my family will be proud. And when I was young and I was hearing all the tales and stories of my ancestors who are warriors and whatnot. So I can only hope the same for my future generation, that they can speak on me. Like, man, we had a guy that was just a warrior, a beast. He was a world champion. He had this, and it's all going to be documented, because we're in a later age where everything is digital and whatnot. So it's all going to be gold, in the future. This is all going to be gold stuff, even all these interviews and everything I'm doing. So I'm trying to get on as many platforms as possible, so I can just spread the word.
And obviously you got the gold in the hair again. That's
Yeah.
becoming, is that become a tradition now for you?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I did it at first to just kind of get myself out there, but I think everyone loves it. So, I like to do it anyways. I don't really think of much of it. I will pass either way. If it's if it's the black hair, brown hair, it doesn't matter. I don't need to have my lucky undies on to fight. Like, I don't believe in rituals. So you throw me in there with one arm or whatever, it's all good. I still fight with the same mindset. Just go in there and come in hot. I got so much skills. I could fight with one hand. I might even start doing challenges while I'm out there. So, but I don't know. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. But yeah, I always have that mindset. No rituals. So yeah.
I know you said you're not thinking too much about your MMA fight in a couple of weeks, but since we're here, just how excited are you to finally be able to get a professional MMA fight under your belt?
Oh, bro, it's huge. It's huge. I mean, that's the wave right now. It's UFC, MMA. I mean, that's people will want to see. It's the 4-ounce gloves. It's the whole talk. And kickboxing is good too, and I'm glad we still got it, because I like to watch striking. It's awesome. But yeah, MMA is just taking over, and I'm glad to be in the up and coming, the next part that's going to come through when a bit of the hype starts to build up some more. I mean, this is like one of the fastest growing sports in the world, and I'll be at the forefront of it all. So I can't wait to get in there as well and show what I've been doing, because I've been doing this for like a couple of years now. So people don't realize that I have a passion for the grappling as well. I'm not just a striker. So I think people are going to be real surprised come my first MMA fight. So yeah, just tune in.
Sweet as, we'll leave it at that, man. Obviously, first things first, grab that world title on Saturday night. Hope all goes to plan and you get to wear that belt.
Yeah, bro. Thanks for that.